In this video, I'm going to talk about the various software and apps that I use to manage my personal finances in 2026. And I'm going to categorize this into three main areas: budgeting, investing, and reporting. Reporting, often an underappreciated aspect of your personal finances. I had a question on this a while ago, and my response was mainly Microsoft Excel. But over the years, things have changed, and I wanted to do a bit of an update on what I'm currently doing. So budgeting is the first area, and I will say this is my least developed, least sophisticated area where it's been pretty consistent, meaning I started with Microsoft Excel. I tried out various bits of software and apps and even the various banking things that now occur where Commonwealth Bank or your various banks will now help categorize things. But essentially, I'm still pretty much using Microsoft Excel. And what I'm doing with Excel is I'm determining, first of all, how much money I need to set aside for two key areas: how much I need to survive and how much I need for like fun or to thrive, should we say. And then secondly, how am I tracking against that budget? So I won't go into detail around what I'm actually doing when it comes to budgeting in this video, but essentially my budgeting process tells me how much I need in terms of bills and how much I need for fun. And I have two separate accounts. And what I'm essentially doing is, for example, if I know I need about $2,000 a month for all my bills and general life expenses, and say, for example, $1,000 for all my fun, then I would say every month I'm essentially transferring money into those accounts and making sure I'm topping them up to that threshold of $2,000 and $1,000. And what I'm actually doing with Excel is tracking that addition. So every month I'm checking how much money did I need to put into my bills account to make sure it was sitting at $1,000. And I've basically got all my direct debits coming out of that one account. So with this method, I'm not tracking how much I'm actually spending directly. I'm indirectly figuring out how much I need to put into that account to make sure it's at the right amount. So it's a way of tracking the spending. There are flaws in this method. Mainly it comes down to I don't know what's actually going on in each category within my bills or within my fun money. And that's understandable because for the purpose of what I'm trying to do, I just need to know the broad category, how much am I spending. But if I did want to know specifically into each area, I can, again using Excel, pull the spending data and I can use pivots to do this. That's because I'm a bit more comfortable with it. I've probably got a bit more time than most people to do it. Now the investing side is slightly more sophisticated than just Excel, and I do have some subcategories here. I'll say, first of all, I'm looking at what do you need for actually purchasing things, shares? What am I using to actually track my investments? And then the last section, again, the not most exciting topic, but what am I using to actually track my thinking and resolve or improve my thinking around my investing? So when it comes to actually buying the shares, no surprise here, I've done a few videos on this. I am using CMC. That is my current stockbroker. I say current because I have used a few over the years. So I have used CommSec, then I switched to E-Trade back in the day, but this was actually a CMC product, but it was white labeled by ANZ and used as, or labeled as E-Trade. Then I switched back to CommSec, and now recently I've switched over to CMC. So whatever you end up using, you will need a stockbroking platform. I wouldn't necessarily say there's a famous one or a perfect one to pick. There's certainly a very popular one, which I would say is CommSec. It's quite well known in the industry. But I've used CMC recently. It's been fine for me. I've used CommSec. It's been fine for me. I've heard many others are out there and they're fine. You pick one and you use it, and I don't think it's the end of the world if you pick one and you decide not to use it over time. With a lot of the more broader platforms, it's not a one-way decision. You can then decide to switch and move your investments across over time. The next category is actually tracking your investments. Now on this, I did start with Microsoft Excel back in the day. It has many flaws in using it. Mainly, you have to spend a lot of time sort of updating your investments along the way. Also, you have to have a bit of a benchmark. I think when most of us start investing, our benchmark is yesterday. Like, how do our shares go compared to yesterday? Whereas over time you realize you need a true benchmark, which is something that is actually different to your portfolio and more generic. So it might be something like a VAS or an A200 or like S&P 300, S&P 200. But over time, again, if you're just investing in one or two ETFs, your benchmark might be the actual general ETF for the country you're investing in, or maybe something you've picked in general. But as your portfolio gets more complicated, you might have some VAS, you might have some international facing stuff like NDQ or IVV, S&P 500 or NASDAQ trackers, or more broad VGS, then you might want to have some kind of benchmark. And this is where using Excel just can be a bit tricky. And I use ShareSite. Now, I didn't get ShareSite for the purpose of tracking my investments. I got ShareSite more for reporting purposes, but it does have the capability to actually track your investments. And it's quite a handy, useful thing. You can sort of say, I've got this portfolio, how is it performing against my benchmark? How is it performing over the years? One thing I would say is having an independent benchmark is probably one of the most humbling ways of realizing trying to do too much with your portfolio just usually ends up with you underperforming the index, especially if you go into individual shares. And that's where I would say it's quite useful having something to help track your investments in a more automated way is you do see, is there any actual value in doing individual share investing? Now, that other topic of improving your thinking, not a sexy topic, but here's what I mean. A few years ago, I listened to an episode from the Deep Value guys, Tobias Carlisle team, and they were talking about tracking your thinking around your investing. Now, if you're investing in ETFs, this is probably not as important. But if you are someone who wants to invest in individual companies, I think there is value in actually writing down on a piece of paper, why did I decide to buy this share? Comes in handy when it comes to the point of maybe selling it and thinking, when do I actually sell it? It's gone up 10%, or maybe it's gone down 30%. What was my point on when I need to actually sell this? And why did I buy it in the first place? Now, you can obviously do this with a Microsoft Word document. You have a bit of a template. And I'll do videos on this in the future because I myself want to develop this skill set. But I do know there's an app out there, and this is something that I believe was Tobias Carlisle flagged, called Journalytic. And I'll put up a couple of screenshots on it. It's quite handy. Like, the concept is quite useful. At the time of me using it a few times here and there, it didn't track Australian companies, so you couldn't specifically tag Australian companies, but it's not the end of the world. You can still put a couple of custom tags in there. But the idea would be, you're suddenly thinking of maybe investing in, I don't know, some like Walmart, some kind of company like that, or maybe Commonwealth Bank. And you can say, all right, this is why I'm thinking of investing in Commonwealth Bank. These are the ideas, this is my, investment thesis. Or I'm considering investing in Commonwealth Bank, but I did some research and I've decided not to. And then when you go back to maybe bringing it up again as a topic, or it comes back into your head, you can search for it and you can see, oh, I did think about Commonwealth Bank in the past, but this is why. Has anything changed? Have the fundamentals of the company changed? And similarly, if you decide to buy shares in some kind of company or ETF maybe, you decide when do you want to maybe exit the position or that position. What's your criteria to exit it, or what's your criteria to add more to it? If it's not purely a DCA strategy. So obviously you don't need an app for this. You can just do this in Word or just in your Notes app. But it's something that I want to develop a bit more because I can already see a massive flaw in my thinking around. There's a lot of stuff I open on and I'm like, well, when do I leave this position? Or is this a topic I've thought about in the past? I feel like I've thought about BHP a lot of times, or thought about FMG in the past, but where are we now? Or thought about a uranium company. Am I still thinking about it now? I think there's an opportunity there. So as far as I can see right now, Journalytic is probably the most sophisticated one out there, but you can very much just use a piece of paper and pen. Now, to finish with, let's get into reporting, the often underappreciated, not very sexy area of telling the ATO what actually happened. Now, you can talk a big game about how your investing is going, but let's be honest, if you didn't tell the ATO, did it really happen? So again, this is an area where once you get into investing, it's all exciting, but you don't really think about reporting for tax purposes until the end of your first financial year. Again, most people start with maybe pen and paper, maybe a bit of Microsoft Excel action. And that is admittedly how I started as well. Between you, me, and the ATO, my Excel spreadsheets were bulletproof. However, over the years, as your portfolio gets a bit more complicated and maybe your investing decisions get a bit more complicated as well. So it could be, you've got some ETFs, you've got some individual companies, you've decided to create some paper loss, or you've actually realized some losses, you've got some gains, you've bought some positions, and then you've sold the entire position. But then over time, you've done some trimmings. You didn't sell the entire position. You thought, I still like this company, but I've got a lot in it. It accounts for a lot of my portfolio. Because most of us start with, I will buy and never sell. Then you might go to, I will buy and I might trim a little. Or it might go to, I will buy and now it's at a loss, so I'm definitely getting out. So we start very long term, but then you might go down some other parts. So it's useful to have some tools that will help you with your reporting. I will also say, you've gotten to a more sophisticated level on your investing journey when you start to consider tax implications of actions you might be about to take. Because let's be honest, you might, early in your investing journey, you're not thinking about tax at all, potentially. You should, but you're probably not. Then you do some stuff and taxes come in and you're like, oh. And then level 3 is, if I do this, what will happen from a tax point of view? You're there. From a reporting point of view, I have an app, and what I am using is ShareSite. And that's actually why I started using ShareSite, was from a reporting point of view. Things got a bit complicated for my humble spreadsheet, so I just started going down the more automated process. Now, it's not entirely automated, I will say. There is a bit of user input required. So the idea here is you buy your shares and you connect ShareSite in somehow with it. I don't want to advertise ShareSite necessarily. I'm just going to tell you about the process that happens. Whatever application you use, you will have to somehow connect your trading to the company. Then the company will then help monitor, the price movements of it, and also the various corporate actions that may occur, which is usually dividends for most of us. And also when you take action, you sell it or you buy more shares in it, it'll help you track those events. Then when you come to tax time, it will help you create the report for you. Again, a little bit of user input is required. And I will say for ShareSite, there's plenty of videos out there. I haven't even bothered doing any videos out there because it will be surplus to requirement. It will be surplus to what's already out there. They do plenty of content out there. Other people are doing videos out there for them. There's plenty of content. But essentially, you will have to create the report, and then you use that to either do your own taxes or you give it to your accountant. So straightforward stuff, but I've now transitioned to that. So to the person who asked me many years ago, what are you doing? I was saying Excel, but now I would say ShareSite. There are alternatives. ShareSite is, I've heard, I've not done a lot of research, but I think it's on the pricier end, and it does vary depending on the size of your portfolio or the amount of shares you've bought over the years. For me, the trade-off is knowing I can basically click a couple of buttons at a certain point of time around tax time, and also having a bit of a way to project into the future around my unrealized gains and knowing, right, I'm not in a rush to sell this particular share. If I can wait another 3 months, then, it will have slightly different tax implications. This is not advice. Please speak to your accountant and tax advisor. It's having this kind of tool does help. And for me personally, it's a reasonable trade-off for me. Again, you might not want to. There are alternatives out there, but you do need to have some kind of plan around reporting. If you are investing in cryptocurrencies, all the best, but also I believe you can use some of these platforms for them, and they have more broader appeal, or they allow you to use more than just shares for reporting purposes, because you don't want to get caught out with your crypto tax reporting. The other one out there is Crypto Tax Calculator, which I think is now being renamed SUMM, SUMM. Very reasonable platforms out there. Same idea, you connect in with your trading, or you give them the summary of your trading. They'll then help you develop the tax report for it, and you can either use that for your own submission or you give it to your accountant to use. Hopefully you found that video useful. If not, nothing else to tell you that there are a few areas that you need to be considering when it comes to your personal finances. Like I said, it's a journey. I started very heavy Excel, then stuff happened and I realized I might need slightly more sophisticated tools, and I purchased those tools and I'm using those tools and they're proving useful for me for now.